and welcome back to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm your host, and this is what we have for you this week. Week 7 brought some interesting results as interdivisional play continued. Last week was a dead tie between the two divisions, 3 wins apiece. Currently, the crewmen lead interdivision play with a 7-5 record. In big divisional news, we now send it out to a special message from the commissioner. Hello, everyone. I have a very special message to announce. I've been talking to some people about this. This is really something that came to my mind after Danny Football's excellent picks with Danny Storts.
First of all, I'd like to petition that the two divisions get their names updated for the 2021 season.
Fair.
I think that would add a little spice to this league.
Basically saying that the division names, Crewmen and the Imposters, it's a little outdated. RIP to Among Us. Great game. Great times had all around. But the division names might need a little update. So, because I have the power to do things on my own here, I've decided that the winners of the divisions this year will get to pick the name of the other division for next year. Now, I do have to point out that I would like to keep the division names at a PG-13 level or less, so keep that in mind, potential division winners, but I really wanted to put this out there now instead of announcing towards the end of the year, so that way people cannot say that because the court is going to win the division that I decided to do this, just to give myself a little boost. I've been talking about this with people. You know who you are. I've talked about this with a couple different people, so this is not just something that I came up with all of a sudden, but I'd like to put it out there. If you win the division, you get to name the other division for next year. And that will continue going forward, so we can keep division names nice and fresh. Best of luck to everybody this year. Court, we're looking strong. We're looking real strong, so good luck to everybody. That's going to take a lot to knock off the champs. And now, here is Danny Football with his picks for Week 8. Hey, what's up, guys? The world's 9 best fantasy football players expert, Danny Football here, back with another week of expert predictions. Last week, not so great for me, going 2-4, bringing my total on the year to 26-16. My guests, Mike Vanek, had a very respectable week at 4-2, being the first guest on the year to beat the expert. He's got himself a secured spot back on the show later this year, and I think it's now safe to say that Mike Vanek is my picks nemesis, beating me every time he's been on so far, but do not let that convince you that he is an expert or a better expert than me. Of course not. It is much too small of a sample size. Can't draw any conclusions from that tiny data set. But now, it's a new week. We've got a new guest and a new chance to beat the expert. So guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thanks, Al. Danny Football. Timmy Shea here, general manager, coach of the struggling but optimistic Twisted Teas. Happy to be here. Excited for tonight.
Yeah, happy to have you on. Always great to have an in-person guest.
I know. I'm so glad we can do this again. I missed it.
All right, first up, we have McKiss Maballs versus the Mental Brick Walls. McKiss favored in this one, 72% chance to win. Timmy, who do you like here?
Well, for McKiss Maballs, who I think has the best team name in the league, I'm not going to lie. It makes me laugh every time. I really like their running backs. Jonathan Taylor has looked unbelievable lately. Really like that guy. I'm also a big fan of Josh Allen. He's really come on. The Bills, I think, are just leading the league in most categories.
Yeah.
So that offense is clicking great. And then the Zach Ertz edition, pretty helpful, I would say. I think big to have that. We all know how big of a fan I am of tight ends, so I think that's a great addition. On the other side for the brick walls, I think Trevor Lawrence coming alive a little bit here. And even the emergence of Khalil Herbert could not stop Brett from starting the entire Falcons backfield.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. But I think in this one, I'm going to have to go with McKiss balls.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good pick. McKiss, they've won 5 in a row, tied for the division lead right now, kind of rolling. They got Josh Allen back after the bye. I think they're going to be a real tough team to beat. And this Brick Walls team, not great. The interesting fact, they actually were the first team in the league to win in a week where they were the second lowest scorer in that week. Has never happened before.
Clutch. I would call that clutch.
They were able to pull it off. Yeah, the Brick Walls somehow are still in the playoff race. They're sitting at 3-4, mostly in the playoff race due to the terrible play of some other teams in this league. The Brick Walls have no business being anywhere near the playoffs, and I think them getting into the playoffs is going to get that much harder this week. I think McKiss is going to hand them that L. I'm going with McKiss in this one.
I think that's a good pick, but 3-4, not a bad record. Not the worst place to be. Some good teams at 3-4.
Next up, we have Ham and Throw taking on Team M Vanek. Ham and Throw favoring this one, 60% chance to win. This is a big matchup right here. Battle to see who has the second best team from the second floor of Orange House. Team M Vanek, they are somehow 5-2, leading the Imposters division. It really makes no sense. They have the third lowest points scored, and the lowest points scored against. Nobody is able to score against Team M Vanek. Speaking of not being able to score, let's turn to Mike Visconti. And now let's turn to Ham and Throw.
That was good.
Thank you.
That was good.
Fans will know I have frequently noted the boom-bust nature of Ham and Throw. They had a really big week last week. They've done it in the past. They always come back down after. I'm expecting them to come down after that big week last week. Pair that with teams not being able to score against Team M Vanek. I think it spells bad news for Ham and Throw. I'm going with Team M Vanek in this one. Trust the process.
Yeah, Danny Football, I think that's a good pick. This week we got a battle of the mics, and I just want to put it out there that loser might have to change their name. So not to add stakes to this battle with the Orange House part on top of it already, but loser might have to change their name.
They might. They definitely might.
Mike Vanek is basically starting the same backfield as me. He's got the half of our timeshare on 2 different teams, so I definitely feel his pain there. It's not ideal. He does have James Conner, who loves to vulture touchdowns from Chase Edmonds, so that causes me pain every week. Mike Vanek sitting at 5-2. The tank is going pretty terribly.
Yeah.
Mike Vanek's bad at a lot of things, and I think tanking is one of them. On the other side, we got Ham and Throw, who might have the best running back duo in the whole league. Can't really ding him there. I saw Kadarius Toney's nickname is Young Joka.
I don't buy it.
Do you know what that means?
I don't buy it. I don't know what it means. I don't like it.
Me neither. I also can't really imagine Mike Visconti saying that out loud. So
Let's get a clip. Let's get a clip of Mike Visconti saying that out loud.
Also, his team's pretty deep, but when you can only start so many players, it doesn't help you too much. But
That's true.
I do think his bench might be better than my team these days. In the end, though, I think Ham and Throw is going to end this Mike Vanek winning streak. And so, Mike Vanek, when you change your name, I would just like to put a suggestion out there that we should go with Mark. I was going to say, and buy Orange House. And you should buy Orange House.
You definitely should. Someone needs to. Moving on, we have the Tex Arcana Bandits taking on Blinded by the Tight End. Blinded by the Tight End favored 75%. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I want to start with the Bandits here. And I got to say, with this losing streak, they're trying everything they can. And, hey, man, I'm with you, Grayson. Losing streaks are rough. If this change every nickname on my team thing works, I might have to try it next week. And I'll tell you right now, I am not nearly creative enough to come up with 40 nicknames. So that's a lot to ask. On the other side, we got blinded by the tight end. Derrick Henry is literally a train. I don't know how anyone ever tackles him, and he is on a heck of a run. You just kind of wonder if they're running him into the ground, but we've also never had a 6'5" running back, so I wonder if that's too much of a worry. Kind of crazy that Tom's team is 4-3. I think his team is pretty solid, top to bottom. Wouldn't want to be the one playing him this week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I am going to go with blinded by the tight end this week. But if the nickname thing works, Grayson, I might join you.
Yeah, blinded by the tight end, they're another team that can be pretty boom or bust. But luckily for them, their bust is not nearly as bad as it is for Hammond Throw. So there's always something there. And also luckily for them, they're going up against a team that is 100% cursed in the Bandits. Look, fans of the show are going to know that I'm high on the Bandits. I don't even need to say it anymore, you know? Like, I'm still going to say it, but...
I think you have to say it.
I have to say it, yes. My producer's telling me I still need to say it. But look, as a tortured Chicago sports fan, I know not to mess with a curse. The Bandits, I mean, I don't know if I can really pick them. I got to stay away until they figure something out. Like, Derrick Henry, he can run. I guess he can throw now. Things are not looking too hot for the Bandits. And for that reason, like I said, I got to stay away until they prove me wrong. I'm going with blinded by the tight end in this one.
I think that's a good pick. But do you think if my losing streak keeps going, if I made a video, it would flip it around? Do you think it's a one-way kind of curse?
Oh.
We're getting desperate over here.
I think, look, the curse reversal has not worked yet. So...
we'll try some things.
We'll see. We'll
figure
see.
some things out.
All right, next up, we have To Infinity and Beyond taking on the Twisted Teas. To Infinity favored in this one, 72% chance to win. To Infinity, they've got a really solid group of running backs. I mean, they've got Elijah Mitchell still on the bench. That tells you how deep they run at running back. They've also got Kenneth Gainwell, who, with Miles Sanders going down, might be a pretty decent option. If this To Infinity team stays healthy, watch out for them in the playoffs. I think they might be able to make some noise. It's a pretty solid team. Turning over to the Twisted Teas, this is actually a team I would have a lot of good things to say about if this was week 3. This team has been going downhill fast since they came out strong to start the year. They don't have a quarterback this week. Lamar's on the bye. Zach Wilson hurts. You're going to have to turn to the waiver wire, and I'm expecting some teams to exploit that vulnerability. Might pick up some quarterbacks that the Tees are interested in. So, you know, they could take us back to 2014 and run either Joe Flacco or Geno Smith out there this week at quarterback, try to scrape some points up. It's really not a team I'm high on right now. Very low. Do not have a lot of good things to say about them. And I'm going to go with To Infinity and Beyond in this one. Easy choice.
Ow. I'm in pain. Wow. Didn't know I was going to get attacked on my guest appearance. Right before this, I fed Danny Football a home-cooked dinner. Didn't really have to do that. Thought I was being nice. He didn't help me do any of the dishes.
It's true.
I did them all myself.
It's true.
Thought that would just maybe make you say a couple nice things, but that hurts a little bit. We're going to start with To Infinity and Beyond, and I'm going to be very complimentary of Jacob's team because Jacob did help my great uncle down in Florida get a vaccine. So Jacob really doing the Lord's work out there. Don't really have a bad thing to say about that kid. Wish him the best. I think Jacob could give me his 2 best running backs and still beat me because that's how good his team is compared to mine. Anyway, on the other side, with the Tweez, thanks for bringing up week 3 because I think that was the last time I was happy.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple weeks since then. We've been struggling a little bit. I'll admit it. I think I'm finally going to stop trying to manifest Jeremy McNichols into a start-worthy player.
Yeah. Commissioner Tooch will give you Darrington Evans.
I don't know who that is.
He's the new Titans backup running back.
What do you mean?
Jeremy McNichols is done.
Since when?
Since Darrington Evans came back.
What do you mean he came back?
He was on IR. Look it up. Producers, put it up there.
That's not good. Definitely you're going to rely on that guy at some other point in this season. So, actually, to the point where I'm hoping that the Chiefs just get really desperate and start putting Josh Gordon out there. Tough that some of my season's hopes are riding on Josh Gordon, but beggars can't be choosers. I think for this season, I'm really moving the goalposts on it. It used to be championship. Then it was playoffs. Now it's don't be worse than Miguel, because we did do that pick swap, and I wasn't nervous until probably this week. So that would really suck. Either way, Geno Smith, going to take me to the promised land, picking the Tweeds in this one.
Next up, we have Court is now in session, taking on Team Big Chungus 22. Court, big favorites in this one, 94%. What are your thoughts here?
Court's looking pretty good. They've put a bunch of good weeks together. Obviously set some records early in the season. Looks solid, top to bottom. In my Piss Bucket League, I definitely have Aaron Rodgers and Deebo Samuel. So I'm just inadvertently rooting for Tooch week in, week out. So I'll take a little bit of credit there for those wins. Tooch was a bad friend this week and put $2 on Big Ben when I just put a measly $1. This guy doesn't need a quarterback, so I don't know why he would do that to me. Do you know why he would do that to me during football?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get him on the phone. But you know what? Geno Smith's going to put a bigger...
You know what? Let's phone him in right now. Producers, let's roll that clip. Yeah, Commissioner, we were just wondering, why did you pick up Big Ben for $2? Yeah, it was actually a pretty simple answer. When you're sitting at the top and you got fab dollars to burn, you can kind of just do whatever you want. And, I did the exact same thing to Timmy last year. I picked up pretty much every quarterback available and forced him to play RG3, so kind of a time-honored tradition that Timmy and I have now. Danny Football, thank you so much for calling me in. I want to say I'm a big fan of the show. Good luck with the picks this week. All right, thanks. Thanks for letting us know. Glad to hear you're a fan of the show.
On the other side with Will, the receivers are awesome. I mean,
yeah.
Jeff, Diggs, really good receivers. I'm a big Michael Carter believer over here. The Jets can't be horrible about everything for every week, so something's got to give, and Michael Carter getting some more carries. So love that for Will. I think in this one, though, I'm going to have to roll with the Court. I think too much talent, top to bottom. I think Will's got a couple holes on his team that's going to make it tough. But seeing this kind of disparity, I kind of think we should have a parity draft. Where everyone protects a couple players.
Interesting.
Maybe redistribute the wealth to the league. I know Tooch would be a fan of that. So just something to think about.
It's a very, very bold thing to call for, not even 2 years into the league. Very interesting.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, Grayson had to auto draft. That seemed a little unfair.
That's true.
I mean, their one overall pick can't stay healthy, so that seems a little unfair.
Yeah, this could be an interesting one to watch. Big Chungus, I know I've not said much about this team in the past because there's really not too much to say. I don't know if they can keep up with the Court. I mean, the Court, their defense, we got TJ Watt, Derwin James, Roquan Smith, a lot of really nice guys, top to bottom. They've done a great job of defending the sanctity of the Court. I really don't know if Big Chungus is going to be able to keep up. Also, something to look out for here. This is going to be a revenge game for Harrison Butker. Kicker for the Chiefs, first time going up against his former team, the Chunguses. I'm expecting that him and the Court are going to want to show the Chunguses what they're missing out on by not having Butker on the team anymore. I think this is a pretty easy pick to make here. I think the Court is going to sentence the Chunguses to 3 to 5 years with no chance at making the playoffs. I'm going with the Court. Finally, for our marquee matchup of the week, we have undefeated, never lost, going against Bonk Go-To Mahorny Jail. Undefeated, never lost, favored in this one, 81% chance to win. This is one Marquee match of the week, obvious reasons. The oldest rivalry in the world's 9 best fantasy football players history, going all the way back to that infamous Brandon Cooks incident. Undefeated, never lost. They actually got the edge in the only matchup between these teams last year, so they're looking to keep that momentum going, looking to beat their rival again. Bonk, they've had an okay start to the year. It's been a little shaky. Something to look out for. Mahomes, not looking too great for them right now. He's still been pretty decent in fantasy, but throwing a lot of picks. Also for Bonk, they have 2 of the best tight ends in the league. They got Darren Waller, Mark Andrews. Very likely that neither of them will be available this week. They got to turn to the bums on the waiver wire. Not a great look.
Should have drafted Kyle Pitts.
Should have. They really should have.
Had the chance.
They did have the chance. Turning to undefeated, never lost. They're going to have to replace the GOAT kicker, Justin Tucker, in their lineup this week. Also, they're probably going to have Elijah Moore for the Jets in their starting lineup with Joe Flacco throwing to him. Not great. Do not see a lot of points coming out of that. Not what you want out of your flex spot. With all that being said, though, it's hard to pick against the team playing with a vengeance. Undefeated, never lost. You know they're going to want to show it to the team formerly known as Too Many Cooks. I'm going to go with undefeated, never lost to pull off a little bit. I know Sleeper says their favorite. It's going to be a little bit of an upset. Undefeated, never lost in this one.
Looking at undefeated, never lost here, it's a little rough. I gotta say, I agree with you. The flex options are pretty rough, and that's coming from me. So you know that's a low bar. I do really like Miguel's defense, though. I don't know how he has hands on Minka Fitzpatrick. I don't know who in our league let that happen.
Yeah, but stupid decision.
Idiot. Guy's probably like 3-4 right now or something. This first round pick swap getting a little hairy for me. I'm not gonna lie. I think I was 3-0 and Miguel was 0-3. Didn't have a lot to worry about, and here we are. So that's gonna be interesting coming down to the wire here. For Joe's side with Bonk, I'm betting on a big Mahomes game against the Giants. I think it's time for him to step up a little bit. I think the Chiefs, they can't keep skidding like this. I mean, they're too talented, especially with Mahomes and that offense. So I think big bounce back week for Mahomes there. And I got to say, I have a rooting interest in this one. So we're all on the Bonk train. Let's go, Joe. I'm picking Bonk. Please beat Miguel for me.
All right, well, Timmy, thank you so much for being on the show this week. I'm wishing you all the best of luck with your picks. Of course, not as good as me. Can't beat the expert. But again, thank you for being on. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to have you back on again at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you know where I live, Danny Football, so anytime, happy to be here.
And thank you, Danny Football and guest Timmy, for those great picks. That is all we have for you this time. Be sure to tune in next week to see how things shook out. I'm your host, and this has been TNN. Oh, and as a quick reminder, trade deadline, week 12. It's coming up. That's all I got to say. Think about it.